There are therapy ads out there that go against mental health. There are therapy ads out there telling you that it is reasonable to use their services and get a therapist because you went through a breakup. They have another commercial with a woman stating that her parents started putting her in therapy when she was like a toddler, so she would be emotionally intelligent, which is a stupid thing to say. They're trying to create a society that is dependent on constantly going to therapy. And if you do not learn how to manage life yourself, and I'm not talking about never having a therapist, I'm talking about actually going to therapy when there's no reason to. If you were to do that, your dependency on seeing a therapist will get rid of your ability or keep you from developing your ability to look into, analyze, and resolve your own situations. You can even look up online and put together what you think would work for you when it comes to those steps, looking into your matter and how you're going to resolve it. But you do not need to see a therapy or a therapist all the time. For me, right now, my front tooth was supposed to be put in yesterday. They weren't able to get to it. I look like this right now. It's not great. So I have the crown right here in my car. It's driving me nuts. No, I'm not going to go see a therapist because it makes me sad that I don't have my tooth in. I'm not going to be like, oh God, I don't have my tooth in right now and I'm embarrassed in front of people. The mental turmoil is just more than I can handle. I'm going to go see someone who could help me and guide me to deal with it. No, I look at it, I look at it to deal with it. There's different types of dependencies that have nothing to do with substance abuse. Some people, they jump around from person to person in relationships. Others, addicted to exorcisms, getting exorcisms done, seeing psychics. It's no different when it is just your average therapist, not a psychologist. When you're just seeing a therapist just 'cause, and you're like, oh, well, this person's really close, they understand me, blah, blah, blah. You get that relationship with them. Well, that's the same thing. You're using them for services you do not need, and you're not being self proficient in figuring things out. Self reliant, I suppose. Independent. You're not being independent. And our dependency on others is now how we live today. And it's being propagated, it's being praised through media and the very industries that should be protecting us from such mental issues. It's a problem. But no, you don't need a therapist for just going through life. You don't need that. You only need that when there's something that's tragic that happens, and even then, I would not recommend a therapist. I would recommend a psychologist. I've known 4 psychologists. They've always, even the worst psychologists, have been very useful. I've known 2 psychiatrists, very useful. I've known over a dozen therapists, moderate to none.